first of all, I just would like, because it's very easy and it's quick, just to review the tools that we offer to you, okay? And how will be roughly the process of deploying the application finally in CocoonJS, just to get that straight, and then we go into details on the development, okay?
Just one note about it. Any of you could download our application, CocoonJS Launcher, from the Android market. But if anyone is interested in having that installed in their iOS devices, let us know so we can install you later. Because Apple somehow is rejecting our application in the market right now. So if you want to have that running on iOS, to realize that the CocoonJS technology is mature enough to run on iOS and on Android as well, let us know and have the application installed later.
When you fight with Apple, these kind of things happen, and the thing is that the reason it's been that they say that the application is completely suited to one product. And okay, yeah, well, that's the thing. We are working on that, and it will be available soon, we hope. Or we are working on other ways to provide you with the final CocoonJS launcher for iOS. But it's working, completely working. Okay. Well, the thing is, if you have an Android device, and you download the CocoonJS application launcher, you have two options in the application. The first option is a list of demos, okay, that we provide, so you can.
One second. Have you got that application installed in your devices?
Yes.
Have you seen that previously? No, because otherwise we can start solving.
Yes, we can.
We should do that.
Mm-hmm. I will bring a bigger, like a tablet.
Or have it attached to the project. No, la conectamos al proyector o algo mejor, si no lo habéis visto. A ver, this is the application launcher. Okay, this application contains two main options. The first one are some already bundled applications and the technical demonstrations for the Canvas element we have rolled out, just to show that first of all, the Canvas object is hardware accelerated. That secondly, we give support to most of the 95% of the already supposed to be Canvas rendering context operations, and to see that how some of the extensions we previously talked about work in the system. The other part of this application is your app. By using a registration service, what you have access is to the possibility to launch your own applications. And by doing so, this is a test bed for you. So you could start tinkering with the technology and realize whether it fits your needs or not. As we told you previously, we have focused on the Canvas element mainly because the content which needs hardware acceleration is Canvas-based. So we don't need to accelerate any content, instructions, buttons. Those things are static mainly. So we have split the service in two different views. One which is hardware accelerated, and the other one we are working on already, which is going to hold all your markup. Okay, so right now, launch means exclusively to launch a Canvas-based game.
So the thing is that first of all, the first thing that you need is to register inside our website. It's not, you don't have to pay for anything. It's just a way so we can know that you're using the launcher, and we can know if you need any support, we can contact you. And okay, so and you will access actually with that registration, with the same registration, you will access to future features that we are developing right now. Okay, so it's a very simple. You just press register if you are not registered, and you have a web view here, so you can just register, and it's just to fulfill the form. Very easy, and once you get the code in your email, you can just type it here, and it will just eventually let you access to the launcher. And the thing is that there's only one thing, because a lot of people ask about this. Once you introduce the code, you have to press OK or in your device so the code is sent to the server. Because a lot of people, they thought that you have to press register again or something like that. Okay, so that's the only thing. Once you've been logged in, okay, this green icon will pop out, and then you can write a URL here. Okay, with that URL you can access your game or your application. That it should be inside a zip file. Okay. All this process is explained in our website because there is a blog post that explains each step that you have to follow. Okay. Basically, what we are doing when we want to try new things in CocoonJS, what we do is we use actually the same scene application here. So what we do is just access in the local area network, and we access to our system, and we just put the zip file in our web server, and we just access there and execute it one time and again. Okay, so it's just zip your application with the resources, just put it in the web server, and access it as many times as you want. Okay, you can launch the application. All this information will be stored in the device. So the next time you just come again to the launcher, you will have everything entered again, and you can even launch the previous application that you already launched. So it's already installed in the system, and so you can launch it again as many times as you want if you want to try. Okay. So that's mainly the idea.
So one thing to note is that we are not supplying with any kind of development SDK, because the main purpose of CocoonJS is to supply with an hardware accelerated execution environment without any code change. So after all, we are not in need of supplying you with any kind of extra tools. You just develop your games as you do a regular game on the browser, and just take your source code, one file it or not, that's up to you, and simply download that inside the CocoonJS environment. With this procedure, when you are focusing on the CocoonJS launcher, or you have the ability to upload that zip file to a cloud compilation system we have already developed. That cloud compilation system will spit out two different files, one APK for the Android market, and one Xarchive, which is the final step to have your application published in the Apple Store. Then the last step, which is signing with your own provisioning profile, the final application, that's up to you. Okay, so you don't have to supply to us with your provisioning profile.
Certificate. Yeah. So that's mainly the thing. You just launch, and I don't know if I have connection here. Yes. So now it's unloading from the server, and it's going to.
That's the iPad. The Galaxy
no,
Tab.
This is the Galaxy Tab.
I would like the app to have the iPad so you can see that it works.
Well, for iOS right now, the version that we have that we ship, we made a minor modification that it's when you want to test your application, you just synchronize with iTunes, and you can upload as many zip files as you want already in the documents. Okay, so it's a minor modification, so it's easier to test things because you can have multiple applications already installed in your system. You don't have to go each URL each time. Okay, so this is a feature that Apple brings, and we are using it, but that's the only difference. But it's exactly the same. As you can see here, you just enter the code. It's the same launcher, and you just enter the code and you just execute whatever you want to execute. For example, the camera is a new extension that we are working on. So you can see here, this is plain JavaScript, and it's running with the image that is brought by an OpenGL texture in native. So you can just play around with the camera image without any other image in JavaScript. Okay. You can slice it, you can do whatever you want.
One important thing to note is that your JavaScript code is not touched at all, and it's not been cross-compiled, never. We don't have such procedures. It's just plain JavaScript, as I said in the presentation. That JavaScript executed is downloaded, I would say it's evaluated inside our JavaScript virtual machine, which is bundled inside this application. So, why it's important to say so, because here on the screen you have just plain source code. This is the source code, this is the project we are using to build the already deployed CocoonJS examples on our application, on our CocoonJS launcher. Okay, so as you can see, this is just plain JavaScript. Some of them are based on CAD, but they don't need to, and some are not. For example, I would like to show you one of the extensions. Or for example, a simple one, which is the sprites versus sprites. Okay, this is new sprites. So some facts about this. This is just plain JavaScript code, okay? We are not relying on any kind of HTML5. This is here just for testing purposes, just so that you could see what the application executes after all. But that HTML5 won't be taken into account in the CocoonJS launcher. The other part of source code is just JavaScript and Canvas source code. So we have an image preloader, we have some assets which are being loaded. That's Summon game running on the... Yes. So that's Summon, an example, right? Is another demo inside the CocoonJS environment, so that you could realize that after all, it's a complete execution environment. Summon is, let's say, complicated enough just to realize that you could deploy any kind of game. Summon relies on cat. Cat is worth 13,000 lines of code. Summon itself is another 3,000 lines of code. So performs good at full-fledged 60 frames per second or more. And after all, it's just a game. Plain JavaScript and some assets. Sound, as you have heard, this multi-channel sound is already bundled. You don't have to worry about how to make things. The sound is pretty straightforward. Just use the audio tag directly. And the game relies on nothing else. It's not using any kind of extra extension. So what are the steps to have one of your games running inside CocoonJS properly? Indeed, they are very short ones. The first one is that you should realize that on no mobile device, we don't have any mouse input. So you should switch to touch events. CocoonJS supports multi-touch events and will set you the information of every touch which is produced in the system, either press, release, or cancel. So that's it, change that. Another thing, CocoonJS is a full screen execution environment, okay? And because of that means that somehow CocoonJS externally from your JavaScript has the responsibility to upscale or downscale your game to the screen. So that is done automatically. You don't have to start messing around in your source code about scaling via CSS or downscaling, repositioning the canvas on the screen. All those things are already solved for you. So any code which deals with upscaling or downscaling or scroll to those elements are not needed at all. Another thing which should be taken into account when focusing on CocoonJS. The place in which you are supposed to be adding your event listeners will be either a canvas or the window object which already exists in the system. And this is important just for one thing. The system will decide. How does the system decide which is the main canvas of the system? I have told you previously that you can have an arbitrary number of different canvases which could be layered one on top of the other. But the system assumes that the main rendering one is the first canvas that you have created in the system. Normally, in any regular game, just one canvas is being created for hosting the complete game. And from then on, probably you are building all the canvases just for accelerating things, for example, for caching text drawings, all those operations. You can do that for sure, but just take into account that you must attach, if focusing on the canvas, you must attach the events to the expected canvas. Other canvases won't receive, okay, the input. Or you can do that on the window level, and the window will find its way up to the main canvas of the system. So, up to this point, since we are not relying on any kind of HTML canvas, another thing we have to do is create the canvas element ourselves, as in this line, as in this line. Okay, we'll create the canvas ourselves. We don't reference it from a DOM content because it's not present, but we do the regular or the expected counterpart instruction of adding it to our document.body. From then on, that canvas will be the main animation canvas in the system, the main layer of animation. By the way, I should say that every canvas present on the system is hardware accelerated. Every image you load to the system is hardware accelerated. So what does it mean is that every asset, every image on the system is being backed by a GL texture, and that has some implications. And the first implication that arises is that OpenGL requires 2 square-sized images. I mean, they should be 64 by 64, 128 by 64, 512, 512. So you should be taking into account that maybe you are wasting too much texture space. Okay, so we have some procedures which will send you messages via the console automatically that you are wasting too much texture space. Okay, so you should take that into account. From then on, nothing is especially different from a regular Canvas game. You have set that to one game running on the CocoonJS, and there's no difference. No difference beyond the point that performs much better, it's more stable, you know, those things that we are providing with the system. And yeah, from that point and beyond, nothing must be taken into account. I'd like to notice that second Canvas style, this line there. This is important because how is your screen managed? I mean, we could have a game, let's say, which is using a canvas 1000 by 1000 pixels. And then we are focusing on iPhone 3GS, who is 320 by 480 pixels. So what does the system do? What does CocoonJS do for you? The system will downscale all the content of the canvas just to fit the screen. That means has two different implications. First of all, if your game relies on pixel art, that pixel art will destroy it. Because in the end, a blurring filter will be applied. We have taken account of that as well, and we have solved that. And you can ask for 2D context with anti-alias true. Okay? That way you won't have your system applying a blurring filter to downscale or upscale. So after all your pixel art will be preserved. Another thing is,
it happens in this game, for example.
Yeah.
They wanted to have this 8-bit look, and so if you just anti-alias the rendering, it won't look like this, so pixelated. So they wanted to have it.
Give it a try over there. So one thing is anti-alias, the other thing is how CocoonJS will come up with the whole screen. You have the option to make a scale aspect fit. That means upscale or downscale taking into account my aspect ratio, because I want to make things look properly as if they were in my regular game. Or you have the option to not specify anything, and the system will take the whole screen. So we'll stretch things either horizontally or vertically just to fit the whole screen. From this point and beyond, there's no any other difference from a regular canvas-based game. No one. You could be using, I want to show you one technical demonstration, for example, for clipping and MVC patches and the like, which is, I think it's worth seeing. And everything is performed power accelerated. So, for example, this is a procedural fishbone. I don't know whether you see that properly or not. Probably not.
We have posted a blog post explaining all these things, and we have a full list of all the features of the HTML5 canvas object, all the features, all the functions and attributes that we already support in the current version. Okay, so if you want to see if you're using something that CocoonJS will support, you have the full features.
Why it's important that demo? No worries.
How many of you have tried the launcher already? Have you ever tried the launcher? One there, or one there? How was the experience? Was it good? Or?
The back button returns to the
Yeah, but that's something that we explained that we are doing in purpose. Yeah, and the back button is, that's one thing that a lot of people are talking about. But the back button, once you launch the demo, the back button, it doesn't go back to the launcher and it goes out. It's because once your demo is launched, you are in the same situation as you were if the launcher wasn't there. We wanted to provide the final experience. So, sorry?
And you can control it.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's the thing. I mean, in an application, you will notify that the application lifecycle is saying, okay, I'm going to shut down. If you don't want to shut down, just say. Okay?
For example, Rovis has developed a multiplayer game. the application lifecycle is already present, so he has the opportunity to shut down his communication channels, his WebSockets, and rebuild them upon application resume.
For example.
So you could do the same just to, for example, get rid of all your GL textures, roll them or resume, that's up to you. But the best fit for that application lifecycle is that, for example, when you send your application to the background, when you have established WebSockets, you have the opportunity to shut down them. Otherwise, when you resume your applications, your WebSockets will be in an unknown state, and just as you was suffering.
Application servers are still alive, but actually they're being switched off. You weren't there, you see when they were switched on, so WebSocket continues live, it doesn't use it. And you have the lifecycle event that you detect that it's minimized, turn off the WebSocket, you restore that, and you initialize it.
So yeah, given said that, for example, this is that's the sprites demo, which is in the phone. This demonstration in my Samsung Galaxy S2 runs at full 60 frames per second with 1,000 sprites on the screen. The thing is that from that point and beyond, the system regrets. The performance is not that good. We should let you know that we are also working on batching on-screen operations. So we have the hope that it will probably give us another 100% extra performance. I'm pretty sure that no one will be surprised that when targeting on a native application, if you told someone that you have 1,000 sprites moving on the screen, nobody would be surprised about it. For sure, but I think that when we are talking about an HTML5 development, 1,000 sprites on a screen on a mobile device is, something to take into account. It's a good test bed to say that technology is mature enough and that performance is quite good. All those elements were moving at the same time. You can see that in the source code. So we are not cheating. I mean, we are not animating 200 then and 200 on the line. All of them are being animated at the same time. And all of them are being affected by the system. So as you could see over here, exactly here on a step. So we are indeed making 1,000 calls to this function for every object we have already created previously. The demo starts out with 50 elements on the screen, and you can press the plus button. In fact, you can press on the left side of the screen and add 5 new elements every time you press, so you can go up to 1,000 sprites and realize that in my Samsung Galaxy X2 will be hitting or getting 60 or 30 frames per second with 1,000 elements on the screen. And you see that this is both regular, absolutely regular source code for image and the like. So we previously talked about some extensions, non-standard extensions, which will give you access to non-standard Hello features. We have them here as well. If you happen to register in the CocoonJS library application, you will receive an email in which you could find the source code of any of those already bundled demonstrations. Okay, so you will have the opportunity.
They are available in our website. If you go to the CocoonJS launcher, you have a full list of all the demos. You just go there and you can download the zip files. You can
exactly, Joe. The main intention is that download your own. Download one of those files by your own, and zip that, modify the JavaScript, simply rebundle that on a new zip file, and test it locally from your device. And you'll realize that exactly it's only JavaScript side. So about, for example, the monetization extensions, how would you deal with the ad network integration? Well, CocoonJS, what we have done is wrap inside this namespace some functions which are quite ugly to deal with. For example, those are the extensions we have set up in CocoonJS environment, the execution environment. So there's a globally available X object. This is a prefix from Ideateca server app. Then we have Ideateca server keyboard. There are many of those extensions in the system, the ones we talked about previously. And you simply make a call to a predefined method. Those are already documented and are publicly available. And you can also register yourself for certain kind of events that are produced inside the CocoonJS app controller, which is the object we have built in there. So what does this thing do? Okay, there we go. We are adding a regular JavaScript callback to the complete function and a callback function. Okay. The thing is that how do we interact with the ad networks integration? Just pretty straightforward. You register just one listener and ask the system what you would like to do. Either preload a full screen banner or preload one single banner. From this point on beyond, the system is automatically managed for you, and upon a new banner which has been downloaded, the system will be notified. So probably you would have the opportunity to shrink your screen or reserve some on-screen area just for the banner. For example, you have integrated the banner with a kind of character who's saying something, and inside what she's saying appears the banner in there. So you will have the opportunity to do those things. So you have also the opportunity to position where to make the position of the banner, etc. And then also a full screen one. Those full screen ones are very well paid, by the way, because after all they are quite obtrusive for the developer, for the player. The banner will take full screen and will be removed upon request from the user. And we also give support to those video banners as well, which are configured transparently for you as full screen ones.
They're also called, maybe you know the term, they're called interstitials. We call them full screen banner or ads, but they're mainly known as interstitials.
So what we have done is wrap this not so beautiful code, I would say ugly indeed, inside all the kind of objects which are more developer friendly, and the usage of those are absolutely optional. If you don't want to have monetization on your platform, on your game, you shouldn't have to. So set the banner layout, add some listeners just to manage those callback functions that arise from the system, and that's all. But what this application does, I cannot try that in here because those extensions obviously are not present in the browser. That you can try it out on my mobile phone, which must be found over there. Yeah. No worries. So if you want to, you can change the. Are you testing for 1,000 sprites or so? How many? You can see the number. 125.
Well,
we will have to press screen.
One of the questions that could arise with this example is, okay, but what kind of ad campaign will you show? Yeah? Because you show the banner, but which ad campaign or how can I manage that ad campaign? And I can choose. Okay, we integrated many different ad providers, and the thing is that in our cloud compiling system, you will be able, if you choose to select the ad network integration extension, you will be able to specify which ad campaign you are using. Okay, so you will be able even to admin your own campaigns. Okay, you just go to the ad providers that we are providing right now. If you want a new one, it should be implemented inside CocoonJS, of course. But for the ones that we have, we are pretty much sure that they're the biggest or the most known ones.
For 10 or so different ad networks.
You just go, you just configure your ad campaign, just introduce the codes that they give you inside the cloud compiling system, and it will just generate your final APK and X archive with all those codes inside. Okay? No one will see those codes. No one is going to just get access to those codes. Okay? It will be ciphered inside our resources. Okay? That's how you manage your ad campaign, and you can see the revenues that you get and everything will be just for you, and you can just, if you want to play around and change, maybe I want more advertising from this provider and change the percentage. We're mainly working with an ad provider that is called Mobile, because it has a very nice way of integrating ad networks, but yeah, we work with a lot of ad providers.
That's in movie?
Yeah, we have many of them, but that is one that we really recommend, and you can just check it. It's very easy, but there are many others, so it's easy to do. Okay.
Previously, we talked about the bundling of these final zip files. Okay. Once you are happy enough with the result of your zip file, you have already tested that in different devices, and you realize that the technology fits your needs. The next step will be take out one of those zip files, whichever the zip file, and upload to the cloud compilation system. At that moment, it will be up to you to decide whether you would like to have the content encrypted or not. We would suggest you to have it always been encrypted, not because I be somehow concerned about someone taking my source code, because he could do so from the web, because we're talking about the open web, but because after all, we are bundling some content with sensitive data. We must supply with a valid Facebook application code. We must supply the system with.
I mean, it's just the ad banner just showing up there. This is the demo that we have. Okay, so you can it just goes to the ad. You just kind of go back to the application. Okay. And now it's not showing full screen ads, but it's a matter of choice. I mean, the ad provider has to supply the full screen ad.
Yeah, maybe show us what the keyboard. Or, yeah. So, for example, regarding the keyboard offers you the possibility to switch between different kinds of keyboards. Out of the box available on a kind of platform on iOS or on Android. You can ask for a URL keyboard, a number keyboard, an email keyboard. I don't know, many of the types. They are already supported in there, and you can customize the appearance of this keyboard. So asking for a title, a message when you have done, an initial value of the type, and whether it contains a cancel or an OK text. Why is this important? We have told in the presentation that, well, we Western citizens have a quite common alphabet, and it could be pretty easy and pretty straightforward to mimic a keyboard-like application on JavaScript. But let's think about that. For example, you have a Chinese user for your application, or a Japanese, or a Hebrew, I don't know. You wouldn't be able to mimic those kinds of keyboards by yourself. So what we have done is supply CocoonJS with an extension, which is indeed a native keyboard. So the keyboard will be adapted to the locale of the user of the application. So if he's Chinese and his phone is in Chinese, suddenly a Chinese keyboard will appear. So he has the ability to type in whichever the language of his choice. The thing is that this keyboard view right now is a full screen view, which shows you an input text and a keyboard. We are working on another kind of keyboard, which via callback notifies you about every character you have already pressed. So you could customize the view of this input text for your own needs. An example, just ask for the keyboard will appear up to this point, and upon each character being typed in the system, take into account that, for example, I think in Japanese you could have up to 4 different key presses to have just one character on the screen. So upon each character being typed, you will be notified, and you could have your own view customization. So you could start writing the text whichever the place on the screen you would like to of your choice. Okay?
Yeah, right now it just goes and just pops up a dialog. So you just include the text there, and once you finish, you say okay, text just comes out there.
So you are notified about the complete written text, not about each character which has been typed. Okay, so the other view, we think it's more user-friendly.
Or you can integrate it in your game, so it looks better because you will integrate it in your fields, in your edit text. But right now, this is the solution that we came up with. So
yeah, that's all. This is the complete SDK we will supply you with. Just some examples about how to use the extensions. We have also some guidelines about how to have your games running inside CocoonJS, because probably they won't run directly on first instance, but it's because you are somehow dealing with non-necessary events on the CocoonJS platform, like those of resizing and positioning the elements on screen, etc. And the other thing is the source code of all of those examples. And there shouldn't be any more interaction between you developers and us CocoonJS developers. Shouldn't be, because all the other things are already solved and they work out of the box directly without any intervention. WebSockets, hardware accelerated canvas, local storage. Can I think about more? Any other thing you would be expecting from CocoonJS? Any other feature? In-app purchases are already done, so monetize is not needed by anyone.
We haven't shown the demo here because
the thing is that we can make an in-app purchase of 0. You have to spend some money. So
we didn't want to anyone displaying around maybe spend money. That's why we didn't. This is the Facebook integration. Just goes to my Facebook account and just downloads all the images. The good thing is that because you can say, okay, but I can do that in my web application. Okay? The thing is that, okay, you can do that, but in this case, once I'm logged out, in this case, for example, the first time that I execute the application, if I am using the extension and I already have installed the Facebook application for Android in this device and I'm already logged in that application, once I click, it just goes to that application, just gets the information. It says, okay, I'm already registered. So it just goes to the internet and just downloads my images. I don't have to go to a web application and just introduce the user and login and just log in and.
Why we have done the Facebook integration natively? Because since we don't give support to the DOM elements right now, the Facebook regular API pops out some windows, some DOM content, some markup. So we don't give support to it right now, and that's why we have gone natively. The thing is, the way in which this extension interacts with your game is absolutely asynchronously. So images, your friends' information, everything you could do already, even spend some money with Facebook credits, will be executed on the native side and notified to JavaScript asynchronously. So the system performs very good under even under heavy circumstances.
So anyway, I mean, the bottom line is we just really encourage you to use the launcher so you can try it. It's not you don't have to contact us, you don't have to deal and ask for SDK.
You don't have to at least do so and tell us about your experience.
Yeah, of course, but I mean, but you can try it on your own. That's what we wanted to do, okay? So people just can download the launcher and try their application if they. You can, the main way of the usual way of doing this is you just try your things in your web browser, desktop web browser, and once you know that it's working, you just go to the launcher and you can try it as many times as you want and just modify these little tweaks that we have to do at the beginning. For example, if you want to fit the scale, all these things that we explained, that they're already explained in our website. So once you already try that and if you really see that it fits your needs, what you should do afterwards is go to our cloud compilation system that right now it's in beta. So it's I can show it to you, but I mean it's not working definitely, not right now. But the thing is that in that application, what you're going to do is
it's working, but it's not accessible.
Yeah, but it's not accessible. It's not publicly accessible. Okay. So the thing is, you just go there and there's a little form. Yeah. Right now it's only for the basics. We are not providing right now any extensions. We are going to provide only CocoonJS to accelerate and execute your application. Okay, but there won't be right now any monetization systems for ad campaigns and all these things. You can try them in the launcher, but not in the final cloud compiling system. But you just introduce a couple of fields that are really needed. For example, you need to introduce the name of your application. Yeah. You need to introduce the icons both for iOS and for the iOS application and for Android. You have to introduce all these icons. The images that you are going to use as icons. You have to introduce.
Well, after all, there's a form in there, very easy, and we just have to do so.
So you just go there and you have to upload the same zip file that you already tried in the launcher. Okay? It's the same zip file. You already tried it, and it's going to be the same version for CocoonJS. So you just upload that zip file, and once you are there, it will just run a server-side process that is going to compile your final X archive for iOS and APK for Android. And you will be notified of the links to get those files. You can just download them, and then you can upload them to the iTunes Store or to Google.
So that's it. We would have liked to make a more hands-on workshop. That, after all, what we have been focusing on, or the main intention with the workshop, was showing you that, first of all, that the application is there and it's working. Secondly, that despite it's not already available on the Apple Store, the application, you will have the opportunity to have it installed on your own devices. And give you a rough introduction about what the things you should focus on when dealing with CocoonJS. Because from that point and beyond, everything is pretty straightforward. I think the best documentation would offer you the best SDK are the examples themselves. Most of them are mainly related to the extensions. You don't have to use cat roll, but if you happen to be using that, it would be perfect fit for CocoonJS technology. And I think that's all. If you are interested in taking the application, just let us know, so we can have it installed right now on your mobile devices. And thank you for attending. Can I have my mobile phone, please? Well, not because I'm interested on it, because after all, it came from as a gift from Telefonica. I don't tell it. So yeah, that's it. So that's it. If you're interested in having it installed, let us know in a moment. Or we can also make some tests if you want to. But yeah, that's it.
Some of you just tried the technology and it didn't work or something, and you want to ask something to ask.
Maybe some like communication.
No, not really. We have tried with Word 40 megabytes applications already, and it works fine. There's a limitation with as I told you previously, with the amount of video memory you could allocate. We have already measured after loading approximately 384 megabytes of video RAM, the process will start crashing. It will start to be pretty unstable in its execution. But we are already taking that into account and sending some traces to the log console about what's going on behind the scenes, so to warn the developer. Because in our browser it's pretty straightforward to start downloading 1 trillion images, because the browser manages that perfectly. That's the perfect feature of our browser. Downloading millions of assets can, make all this different kind of memories and so on. We don't have that when running on a mobile device. Everything is in memory, so pay attention to that.
If you have tried the launcher, there is a debug tool inside the launcher, so you can access to the console output. So you can even write to the console in JavaScript, and the output will be shown in that block. Okay. So I don't know if you have tried, but
it's in the frame counter. If you press the frame counter,
you can disable it if you want, but it's by default it's active.
Okay, no worries. Believe us.
Yeah.
It's
Possible.
But just in case if you don't.
Okay. No more questions?
For instance, in Android, how can I manage the permissions that are granted to the application?
Yes, that's one of the fields that you have
It's
to.
important.
Yes. So,
In this way. It's in the frame counter. You can do that.
yes, in the form you will just use the
Well, we are upgrading right now the compilation system with such things. An example, how could you manage to deploy a custom font on iOS? Okay, you can do that really right now. Just supply the GTF file, and we are compiling that for you. So that thing is also taken into account, but it's not available right now.
For example, Rob is using it for Facebook. You need some permissions for Facebook, and you have to introduce those permissions, and we have a file to configure that. So
exactly. So there's no automatic facility just to select all the Android permissions and ask for them. You have to hold your own procedure right then by hand. It's on.
Thank you very much.